Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had an absolutely amazing week. And for those of you who tune in every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live, welcome back. And thanks so much for joining here. For those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment, welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. We are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And if you are joining, good evening, and thanks for those who are starting to join here. And if you're joining the replay on Dr. Nekeshia Hammond YouTube, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the page. And again, thank you so much for you all joining. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Welcome from San Francisco. So happy to see you again. Welcome back. And I am in the Tampa Bay area of Florida today, where I reside. Thanks again for joining here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Good evening to you as well. And for those of you new to Mental Health Moment, we are here live every Tuesday talking about different ways that we can work on showing up more powerfully for ourselves and for those around us. So how do you do that? You start to become the best version of who you are. And there's a ton of different tips and different things that you can try in your life to build yourself up emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. That's what this is all about. Each and every one of us are on this wellness journey, and it's really important that we take the time, carve out the time that we deserve to make sure that we're bringing the best version of who we are into our surroundings. But thanks again for those who are starting to join here. Bahamas is in the house. Ooh, that sounds so nice. That sounds like a great place to be right now. Toronto, Canada is here. Wonderful. New Jersey's here. Horn Lake, Mississippi. Welcome, welcome. Columbus, Georgia, Columbus, Ohio, Connecticut, Fairfield, California, St. Louis, Houston, Virginia. Thanks so much again for each and every one of you who are joining today. And Durham, North Carolina is in the house as well. So welcome, welcome. So this is a reminder on today's mental health moment because there's so many things, that we can do, right? We're still at the beginning of the year. Hopefully you still have some momentum happening as far as your wellness goals. And one of the things that's really important, I've talked about on mental health moment before, but I want to strongly remind you, especially because we're at the beginning of the year, how important it is to have gratitude in your life. So we're going to talk today about a couple of different things to consider, because I know a lot of times it seems so simple to have gratitude, to feel gratitude, to express gratitude, but it's like, well, why? Like, how is this helpful, right, for my mental health? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and some practical tips that you can do. But thanks again for those who are still starting to join here. Pennsylvania's in the house, Dallas, Texas. Good evening to you as well. And thanks so much for joining here. Boston's in the house. Welcome, welcome. So a couple things about gratitude. Number one, I'll start with the why, because a lot of times you're like, well, why? Like, why do I need that? Or what I've gotten questions on before is, how do I be thankful in a time when I might be struggling, however you're struggling, physically, emotionally, mentally, and or spiritually? Like, how do you still have gratitude? How do you still be thankful? Well, the reason why it's important to work on having this gratitude is a perspective change for you. Yes, I no, having gratitude does not mean that all your problems are going to go away. It doesn't mean it's going to reverse any emotional pain or physical pain or whatever it is that you're going through. We know this, right? But it works on changing your perspective a little bit and reminding yourself often that there is a lot still for you to be thankful for. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. New York is in the house today, Illinois, St. Louis, Houston, Texas. Welcome, welcome. So that's the why. But a couple of ways you can do this. One is things you have to consider. One is, when you think of any type of gratitude practice, Are you doing this by yourself or are you doing this with people around you? And what I mean by that, and there's not a right or wrong to this, and you can put in the chat, whichever you feel in your heart you want to. Maybe you're continuing in a gratitude practice or starting one. Is this something you want to have this practice for you? Like you're like, I need my, thankful appreciation time, my gratitude time or whatnot, my own gratitude practice. Or is it something you say, you know what, I want to try this with friends or with family members or coworkers or whomever else, right? So which is it? Is it by yourself or is it with a group? So let me know in the chat. So first, I'm going to start with the group one. And actually, some of you may know because I brought him up before on Mental Health Moment, but Jay Shetty, who I think is amazing. I love his books and I love what he teaches on uh, on his podcast and on his social media platforms. He actually had a great idea. I think it was on there like last month or so about gratitude and ways you can do it as a family, which I was like, ooh, that's a great idea. So actually, so I'm going to show you what my family and I started at the beginning of this year, just as an example. So again, I promised you all this year, a mental health moment, I will share more of what I am doing for wellness because I'm right here on this journey with you. Just because I have a doctorate degree, just because I'm in the mental health space and a psychologist and speaking in different groups, I'm grateful, absolutely grateful for those experiences. But I still have my own wellness journey too, along with you, right? So I feel like we're in this together here. So I'm going to share with you what I'm doing this year, as well as giving you the tips. And you can be like, Dr. Hammond, that's great. I want to try that too. Or you can be like, nope, that's not for me. I'm going to try something else, right? There's not a right or wrong. And so far in the comments, most people are saying I do mostly everything by myself. Someone said by myself. And again, there's not a right or wrong. So I'm going to show you the group one first, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what I do personally, because I do both. But so again, this was from Jay Shetty. So this is his idea. I want to make sure I credit him. But what he said to do at the beginning of the year, which my family and I did a couple of weeks ago as the new year started, was to get some type of mason jar. And essentially what you do is you fill it up every week. So pick a day of the week and you fill it up with post-it notes. And on that post-it note, you write something, quick. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, but you write what was something amazing that happened to you this week, right? So there's a lot of different ways to do this. And actually, you can do this by yourself too. So for those of you who are like, I want to do this solo, you can totally do this solo. It doesn't have to be with family or friends. But we decided for this one aspect to do it as a family. So each week, so myself, my husband, and my 11-year-old son will put in, we have it color coded because I like different colors, y'all. You can write on whatever you want to write on, but we use different color post-it notes and we each have our own color for the post-it notes. And then at the end of the year, what you do is you take out, all the post-it notes. And again, if you're doing it solo, you get to read all the amazing things that happened to you for the year. Or if you're doing it with family or friends or coworkers or whomever you're doing this with, you get to, again, take out all the post-it notes. So we don't know what each other are writing right now, but at the end of the year, we're going to take the time to look through all the post-it notes and just to see all the things that have happened. Now, here's the other piece. And good evening to you as well. Thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Today, we're talking about a gratitude practice. Here's the thing. The reason why these types of things are important to write things down that are something amazing that happened to you is because granted something's going to pop up because that's just how life is, and it can be stressful, it can be difficult, it can be dark or whatnot, but at the end of the year, when you really take the time to look at, man, here's all these weeks, right, 52 weeks that I have, like here's all these great amazing things that happened to me. Because some of it you might, well, I know for me personally, I don't remember what happened a year ago, right? I don't know about you, but there's probably some great amazing things that happened a year ago and I don't remember all of them. But when you really take the time to do this kind of exercise, for example, then at the end of the year, you look at all the amazing things that happened to you. And again, this is just one example. You can also journal. If you're the type of person you're like, I want to write it down, write it down. There's plenty of journals where you can, jot down every day what you're grateful for. Or in like different apps and things like that. You can put it electronically if you're like, yeah, I'm not into the writing thing. All good, right? But there's a lot of different ways for you to work on keeping track of what you're grateful for. And again, the reason for this is because we go through enough stresses. There's enough happening in the world. There's enough happening in our personal life. And one of the things, and a lot of studies have shown too, is when we have this level of gratitude, though, when we could just have these peaceful moments, it really helps you physically, helps you to hopefully, let's right, try to lower our blood pressure. Let's try to lower our heart rates a little bit. Let's try to get into a calmer state physically and also emotionally and also mentally and also spiritually. Right? We're working on trying to get back into those moments, which is why this is really important. Someone said, "Will do," and someone said, "Good idea." Yeah. So again, I do want to credit the mason jar example to Jay Shetty. But here's the beauty of gratitude practices, and this is why someone said I journal, but lately so exhausted from work, I have not been consistent. And well, let me just respond to your comment first because I appreciate you saying that. Because I was just about to say, here's the thing about these types of practices: if you miss a week, it's okay, y'all. If you got to the end of the year and instead of every single week you had 48, you know what I'm saying, or whatever number it is, it's okay. I know it's hard if for some of you, if yes, it's important to be consistent, but if it's going to cause you too much anxiety and too much self-blame and going and spiraling mentally into that type of path, just know it, like, work on letting it go. Like, it's okay. So, whatever you plan to do, if you plan to do it every week and you missed a couple weeks, I will let you know it's okay, right? The the basis of the point of the exercise will still be completed. So you do it as frequently as you can. But thanks for bringing that up here. Someone said I do try to text family and friends gratitude lists. I love that. So again, you all decide. Many of you said I'm doing this solo. Cool. Like do what works for you. For those of you who are not new to mental health moment, you know that I say that quite a lot. Do what works for you. So I will be glad to continue to give you different examples week after week. Things that I'm doing, things that my family's doing, things that have worked for individuals that I know, but at the end of the day, you choose what works best for you. Someone said, or yes, I read that already. Trying to text family and friends gratitude list, a great way to get them involved. I know a lot of people actually that do that as well. They have like group texts and things like that, where they're like, hey, like as a community, they say, hey, share one thing that you're grateful for every morning. Everyone sort of puts it in the chat, which is great. Right. So again, do what works for you. Someone said, I've been meaning to do this. Thank you for the reminder. Very important exercise. Yes, very important. And it's just, make it fun. Like when it comes to mental health, again, there's so much happening. I've heard from thousands and thousands of people. Like I've heard thousands and thousands of stories from people literally all over the world. And I'm grateful, so grateful for that experience. I'm honored to be able to hear these different stories and to meet people from all different religions and ethnicities and cultures and belief systems. But what I can tell you is we really, really, really do share a lot of the same kind of common problems. We just really do. No matter what different types of walks of life we come from, we still have the same emotions mostly. We still go through very similar circumstances. Like it's just a lot. It can be heavy sometimes, depending on what's happening in your personal life, depending on what's happening in the world. It can be a lot. So again, the gratitude practice is not designed to take all your problems away, but it is designed for you to take a moment to be in that calmer state so you can recognize and put things into perspective. And I think I told you all earlier, I'm pretty sure I did, when we talked at the end of last year about what word we were going to choose, what word or phrase we were going to choose for 2024. And definitely my word for this year is definitely perspective, because there's just a lot that has happened from the end of last year and then beginning of this year. It's a lot, but putting things into perspective is really important. And many of us need to shift our mindset often, right? So gratitude is one of the practices that helps with that. Someone said, I do send prayers, etc., to family. Beautiful, beautiful. And that's another thing when it comes to gratitude. It's gratitude comes in many different forms. So it's our own gratitude of what we're grateful for, the good things that are happening and all the things that are positive in our lives, but it's also being appreciative of others. And when I say others, it could literally mean strangers. So of course you've heard on many different acts of kindness. We talked, I think it was last year. The years kind of blur together, y'all, but I think it was last year we talked on mental health moment, the benefits of that, random acts of kindness. So expressing your gratitude also to others, whether it's strangers, whether it's your friends, your family members, your coworkers, or whomever it is that you're around. That's another expression of gratitude. So there's like the inward, yourself, what are you grateful for? And then there's the outward expression for other people around you. So I love that. Gratitude is probably the most important quality in life. It really, really is. It's very, very, very underrated. And it's a, it's just a good, it's something good to keep in your toolkit. And so when you think of, man, how do I better my life? How do I grow emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically? Like what are one of the things in the toolkits I need to have? Gratitude should be in there. Really, really important. Um, Another thing that, so I promised to share also another thing that I started for those of you who are new to mental health moment. If you're not new, you may have heard this before, but I believe it was in 2022, because again, the years are blurring here together. But another practice that I do, so this one's a personal one, is every single morning, as soon as I wake up, I go into gratitude mode. So for me personally, it's reaching out to God, saying a prayer. What am I grateful for? Like in that day, I try to choose something that either is about to happen in the next couple days or just happened a couple days ago. So it's pretty current within a week. That's just the way I choose to do it. Again, there's not a right or wrong to this, but customize your practice for you, right? But that's what I do first thing when I wake up in the morning. I have a whole practice on that, devotional journaling. Like I have a whole thing that I'm doing in the morning as soon as I wake up before I get to my cell phone. And this is just a recent change or a couple years now, but that I made because again, I used to start like many of us straight in the morning to the cell phone. And now it's like, nope, let me be intentional. Let me do what I need to do first. And in regards to gratitude, and then get to the cell phone. Someone said, yeah, for me, it's self-care, beautiful. I show gratitude to my other half daily because he's the best. Lovely. I love it. Grateful to put my skills to the test. And let me know in the chat today. So since we're talking about gratitude, what is one thing that you feel grateful for? And there's no right or wrong answers, but let me know in the chat if you were to think of like, man, today I am grateful for what, right? And the thing about gratitude is gratitude, a lot of times we think this has to be this big grand thing that we're grateful for, or this, massive celebration. And it's like, it could be, that's not wrong. But even the little things, like to be grateful for that too is really, really important. Someone said life. Wonderful. That's actually a big thing, right? A really big thing to be grateful for. But there's just so much when you really stop and think about it. And the other day I found, I don't even know when that was. That was before my child was born and he's 11. So I don't know. It's probably like 13, 14 years ago or somewhere along those lines. I ran into one of my gratitude journals that I had where I was writing out, I was starting to write it back then. I was writing out daily, like 10 things or whatnot that I was grateful for. And it's so cool to look back and see it because I'm like, man, like, because you forget about some of these things. And when you look back, you're like, man, I really have a lot to be grateful for. We all do. But again, what happens is, especially when we're going through turmoil, some type of, struggle in our life and whatever area of our life, we don't tend to focus on that because we're so focused on the problems and solutions and what happened and what should have happened and could have happened and all those sorts of things, which tend to affect our mental state frankly, and not put us in a place of gratitude. um Someone said, yep. Grateful to realize that anger is a way for people to control you, so I got rid of it. Beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And well, yes, it's a beautiful thing. Anger shows up in many different ways. You also, anger is not a bad emotion to have. It's just a matter of how it gets expressed. So some people have anger so strong that they internalize, say really harsh things toward themselves, do things to hurt themselves in some type of way, or opposite, lash out on others, hurting others with their words or physically or whatever it is. So yes, anger in an unhealthy way is difficult and has consequences, but I mean, having anger is a normal emotion for sure. Someone said the little things. I love that. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to see another day. Beautiful. Someone said, waking up with a chance to get it right with God once again. I love it. Every day's a new day, you all, as you know. Someone said, yep, it's good to keep good. It's good to keep old journals. It is. I didn't even realize I forgot I had that journal. It's a really long, I mean, really long time ago, that journal, but it was kind of neat to run into it and see the things I was grateful for. Someone said, I'm grateful to give and help others. I used to be on the other side. Wonderful. And some, well, all of us have a story, frankly, right? And I always say this, I'm going to wrap up here soon, but I always say this, that yes, especially when you can empathize with someone for whatever situation you used to be in, and now you have an opportunity to help them. Like, that's amazing to me. Like, that is so genuine, that is so empathic, that's so giving and so appropriate, right? For us to be helping others, but especially when you know, like someone said here, what this person may be going through a bit because you had the same experience. It just, yeah, it's a different type of impact. So thank you for doing that. Yep, someone said there's also righteous anger. Yes. Um, someone said I recently found a journal from 2009. That's so long ago. That was a long time ago. I'm grateful to find cheer in all things for I'm grateful to find cheer in all things, for all things big or small. Yes, really important, because again, there are times when you may be like, man, my life is falling apart. My world is falling apart. I don't know what's going on. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed out. I'm depressed. I'm anxious, whatever it is that you're feeling. And just because of how our brains are wired, it's a little bit harder to see the times to be grateful during that time. But that's really the biggest challenge, when you can get to the points where you still find the moments of joy, and even if it's small things, really small things. um I've seen a lot of memes on social media where they'll say, like, even if you got out of bed this morning, right? Like, if you the things that you think are small, like, they could be big things depending on what stage of life and whatever you're going through at the time is. So it's just really important, again, for us to be going back to a practice of gratitude and doing our best to think about what are we grateful for. Yep, yep, yep. Someone said alignment is a big thing too, right? Absolutely. That's a whole nother mental health moment. That's a whole nother mental health moment. But yes, alignment is a very powerful thing. Very, very important. Someone said, absolutely, I'm grateful. Just waking up in the morning and starting my day. Beautiful. I'm watching from the UK. Welcome. Journaling is helping a family member with anger. I think you said I'm journaling to help a family member with anger management. Beautiful. I'm grateful that I found a journal my mom had with so many beautiful memories. That's beautiful. I love that. That's great. And someone said just the basics, food, clothes, and shelter can be enough. Health and strength are important too. Absolutely. So again, if you're just having a really difficult week or a difficult day, and you're like, I don't even know what to be grateful for. I mean, the fact that you woke up, your life, right? Like, there's just so much to be grateful for. Again, so thank you all for sharing in there some of the things that you are grateful for this week. And again, I encourage you, especially, again, we're at the start of the year. I know we talked a lot over the last month or so about your wellness goals, about this momentum, about your phrase and your words and all these things, all these good intentions, right, that we're putting into this year. None of us know what this year is going to bring. It could be the most amazing year of your life or a difficult year. Like, we don't know, but in the midst of whatever it does bring or does not bring, remember to do your best to have your gratitude very close to you, whatever that practice looks like. Again, if you are doing this solo, great. If you decide to do this with a group of people, fantastic. Do what works best for you. But remember to make yourself your number one priority. That is the motto for 2024, right? Make yourself your number one priority and make sure that gratitude in some form is in your toolkit for this year. Someone said, someone said, I'm grateful for peace. I love that. This is great. It's been too long. Absolutely. Someone said, try to at least smile to someone you know because it can go a long way. Yes. Ooh, that's a whole nother mental health moment too. But yes, yes, yes. I could talk for 20 minutes on that. So I know I'm trying to wrap up here, but it's very, very true. It's very, very true. Someone said they're grateful for peace. I love it. Oh, someone said, how often are you in here? I am here and I will be back, but I am here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. For the person that asked that. And if you do miss a mental health moment live, you can always go to Dr. Nekeshia Hammond YouTube and catch the replays on there. But of course, I love being with you all live. And yes, for those of you who were here last week, so like 9 times out of 10 for the year, I'll be able to be with you live unless I'm on a plane or I'm at some type of event. So last week I was at an event actually, but I'll do my best to do a pre-recording or a recording before, so it's still on showing at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that day. But I'm happy to be back with you live today. And again, I will be back next week, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Have an amazing week. If you need me, you can go to drnekeshiahammond.com or reach out on dr.hammond, Instagram or Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, connect with me on social. But I'll see you guys next week. Have an amazing week. Start your gratitude practice if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, you guys.